Hello, all you wonderful people. I'm Rod, and welcome to my channel, Stay Strong, Live Long. This is another episode of the Dishwashing Philosopher, and I can thank Copper's Kitchen for this idea. She suggested that I keep doing this, so here I am. Hopefully I'll keep finding things to talk about. So firstly, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I could not have dreamed that this channel would already have 600, I think it's 600 subscribers now at the time that I am recording this. And there's so many people who have posted very supportive comments and just engaged with the channel, and this is my first YouTube channel, and it's by far the most interesting and engaging audience that I've ever worked with. And I think this is just the nature of the carnivore community, the low carb community, the keto community in general, which is really nice to see. I just want to make a special mention to Copper's Kitchen, who has been very supportive from the very beginning, always comments on everything that I post, so thank you. Also to Shane, Healthy Carnivore, Susan Hampton, Annabella Redwood, Jason Campbell, Julie Atkins, and there's loads of other people, but those are the ones that I've noticed that they do post a lot of comments and engage with my videos, so thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. It really does help to know that people are benefiting from what I've got to say and what I'm putting out on my channel. And at the end of the day, I'm doing it for me, but I'm also doing it for all of you as well. So it's good to know. I always like getting feedback as to what's useful and new ideas and what's working, what's not working, basically. And so the more feedback I get about that, the better that I can make this channel. And I'm also really encouraged by the number of people who have actually signed up for subscriptions. I can't believe, signed up to be notified. I can't believe how many people, the percentage is something like 25% on my channel, which is just huge for normal YouTube anyway. So this is going to be a bit of a personal update and just a bit about how things are going as far as me eating the carnivore way goes. I think this is about must be close to day 60 for me. Actually, firstly, I just want to do a big shout out to a new channel called Sightless Carnivores. Now, this is actually a couple that Kerry from Homestead How put in touch with me. These two are completely blind, and they have been on the carnivore diet for, I think, 3 months or so. I think is it Shane and Amy? I'm pretty sure that's right. So Amy's lost about 90 pounds. Shane, I'm not sure. I don't know exactly. I know he's lost a bit of weight, but there's also a lot of other health issues that he's managed to improve. Anyway, they have just started, and I'll be helping them get their channel going like I did with Bill Knott. I told them that I'd just let you guys know. It just amazes me, two people in the same household, both are blind. I mean, how do they even interact with electronic things? So I'm fascinated to learn more about actually how they just go about their everyday life, like doing grocery shopping or doing cooking or all those things. So, there'll definitely be more to hear from them. And I think Kerry might be featuring them in his upcoming documentary as well. But anyway, I'll put a link to their channel in the show notes. They're only brand new. They've just done 2 videos, and I'm going to be helping them get their channel up and running and help them get things sorted, and all the things that a sighted person can help blind people with, basically. So yeah, just check out their channel, and if you want to support what they're doing, then head on over there and take a look what they're doing and subscribe to their channel. All right, so next, in my last video, I mentioned that my wife April wasn't too keen on when I first raised the idea of doing the carnivore diet with her. And I just want to clarify that. I mean, some people took that as meaning that she wasn't supportive or she was being not very nice about it. That's actually not the case at all. I mean, April, for her own reasons, and we both watched the Game Changers movie like a couple of years ago. And I must admit that actually really had me looking at going down the vegan path as well. But there's a lot more to the story of the meat industry and the fruit and plants growing industry than what is presented in that film. And in any case, I didn't want people to think that April was not being supportive. It's just that she had her own objections, and we had to work out a way so that we could work together. And she's always been very respectful of my decision to go with this way of eating, and in fact she actually will readily acknowledge that she's needing to eat more meat now. Than she's sort of been more or less vegan for quite some time, but she's finding she's craving meat. So, you know, to me it just says that the body does actually require at least some, and I'm respectful of her position and what she'd like to eat, and vice versa. So I just want to clarify that. Some people thought that she wasn't very supportive at all, but that's actually not the case. I heard Jordan Peterson once say that a great partner in life is someone who's willing to spar with you. Now, I don't mean spar like, you know, with your fists and stuff. I mean spar like verbally, emotionally. Someone who's willing to challenge your own ideas. Isn't just going to go along with everything that you say, you know, like some sort of a passive accomplice. It's someone who has their own mind and likes to find their own evidence and likes to form their own opinions and has their own likes and dislikes. So, you know, I think that's the spice of life when it comes to relationships. And also just not knowing your partner's entire mind, you know, having some sort of mystery to them is a big part of that. So, yeah, I think that Jordan was right when he said that having someone that's willing to spar with you is a really good thing, and it keeps things very interesting when you're not always agreeing with each other. The key thing is to disagree respectfully and be willing to argue on facts rather than any sort of argument descending into a match of trading insults. That's a complete waste of time in my view. I think it's not a healthy way to argue. So that's that. Yeah, I did some shopping at Aldi just a little while ago because I've got 4 kids and I have all 4 of them in my tiny little apartment here this weekend. So the little ones do like to eat meat. I feed them a lot of meat, but I also get a lot of other whole foods, other like, you know, carrots, apples, things. I was picking up that and picking up some eggs and bacon and whatnot, and I'm standing in the line at Aldi, and it just made me realise how much processed food that we're surrounded by. You know, people go shopping at Aldi and there's limited options there, but there's still a lot of processed food that's put in front of people. And I also noticed that those who appear to be in the worst health, and particularly elderly people, a lot of them were eating a stack of food that must have had 30 ingredients in one box. So, you know, I don't actually really care if you. I'm just going to talk about what's worked for me, and if you choose to do an all meat diet or a carnivore with some dairy, that's really up to you. It doesn't bother me. What I do care about is that you, as much as possible, eat whole foods. So single ingredient foods. It's obvious to me that by eating a lot of processed foods, and I'm so glad I've eliminated that from my diet, it's just a road to suboptimal health, no matter what else you're doing. And it's hard because we're surrounded by processed food. We're marketed to by the billions to eat really heavily processed food. And yeah, I get that that's difficult. So I think that's why what I'm doing is important, why communities like this are important, so that you can stick to eating whole foods, whether that's, you know, meat and dairy, or whether that's also includes fruit and vegetables. Well, great. If it's all whole, single ingredient foods, I can't see how that wouldn't benefit you in the long run if up until this point you've been eating a lot of processed crap. So what's been working, what's not been working? I mentioned last time in a previous video, I had a bit of an issue with thickened cream. I love thickened cream. The problem with thickened cream was that if I bought a tub of it, like a 250ml tub, then instead of just having a little bit of it, which was my plan when I bought it, I would have a little bit and then 15 minutes later come back, have a bit more, and next thing you know, half it's gone. And some days I'd eat a whole one, you know, in one day. I've got a bit of an addictive personality. It's something that I'm working on. So I just decided not to buy that, and instead have a slice of cheese every now and again. And I also bought some decaffeinated coffee, because I love coffee, but I know that if I have it like after lunch, it's going to have a negative impact on my sleep. So I bought some decaffeinated coffee instead, and having that with some like my usual butter coffee. So last night it was around about 5:30, and I'd just eaten quite a bit, and I thought, oh, that's probably, it was a bit early, but I thought, well, maybe I should just make that it for the day. And then by about 7, I was feeling a bit, peckish, whether it's habitual or whether I was actually hungry. It's still hard for me to tell. So I had a decaffeinated coffee with butter in it. That was great. And the upside of that was that I actually slept really well. Look up Dr. Ben Bickman, and he made a comment about how the single biggest predictor of whether he's going to have a good night's sleep was whether he went to bed with an empty stomach or not. And it definitely makes a huge difference. The quality of your sleep is so much better when your body's not digesting food. So if you can finish eating 2 to 3 hours, 3 if possible, before you actually go to bed, to see how much of an impact that has on your sleep. It consistently makes a big difference. The issue for me was I usually go to bed about 8:30, so that meant finishing eating by 5:30. And my habits were that I would have a little bit to eat around about half an hour to an hour before going to bed. So working around that with the decaffeinated coffee and a bit of butter has worked for me. I guess you could just use hot water and some butter, or just have a little bit of butter, or some people I've seen even just like get a little bit of ghee or any bacon, grease, anything like that, anything that's really fatty. It's also going to allow you to have what's called a mimicking fasting state, where the benefits that come from fasting are equally as good or even better if you sort of mimicking fasting diet, where you're just having a fat only in that long 14 to 16 hour window. So that's pretty much it for today. In closing, just thanks again for everyone who's supporting the channel. I can totally see how we could be up around 6,000 subscribers in a year's time. I'd be super excited if that happens, and I'm really interested in producing videos that people find useful and beneficial to help them in their journey. So any feedback related to that would be absolutely welcome. And like I've said before, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. If you've just started on the carnivore diet, then don't be in a rush. Just start, use what you know, keep learning. If you fumble and fall off the horse, well, get back on there again. It doesn't mean you need to quit just because you've stumbled a little bit. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao for now.